Under the brilliant sunlight, the massive training pool sparkled with thousands of beautiful, transparent blue bricks. Standing authoritatively on the diving board, Lila looked truly powerful, holding a scoring clipboard in one hand while raising a white megaphone with the other to boldly announce the start of the zero-gravity test. From the locker room, the sound of heavy footsteps pounding against the brick floor signaled the arrival of the astronauts. Grog stepped out in a classic light bluish-gray diving suit that hugged his body tightly, making his every movement as stiff as a machine. But the most ridiculous part was that he stubbornly wore his wild, leopard print loincloth layered completely on the outside of the diving suit. And it didn't stop there. Right on top of the heavy bronze diving helmet, Grog had carefully glued his familiar orange hard hat and white daisy, creating an incredibly bulky and absurd ensemble. Right behind Grog came the sound of miserable waddling and scraping. A giant, transparent glass sphere rolled forward slowly, revealing an incredibly struggling REXY inside. Due to his oversized body, the majestic tyrant dinosaur was now stuffed neatly into a sphere, looking exactly like a giant, overinflated red pufferfish. His two short, useless arms stuck out of the glass, while REXY could only let out long sighs, creating small bubbles that hissed from the helmet's seams. He tried to scratch his itchy nose, but could only claw helplessly against the cold, convex glass. On the shore, Clack rolled over on its tracks, reached out a clip to gently polish a smudge on REXY's glass, and backed away with appreciative clicks and clacks. Suddenly, the surface of the pool bubbled violently, sending transparent, round bricks splashing into the air. From the bottom of the pool, Splash's long, dark blue neck emerged, his long snout opening into a friendly smile that revealed bright white teeth. Receiving the command from Lila, Splash obediently dove deep, using his 4 flippers to paddle the water at breakneck speed, creating a perfect centrifugal whirlpool right in the middle of the water column. Without hesitation, Grog jumped into the pool with a loud splash, sending sharp, transparent water bricks flying everywhere. REXY also gained momentum and rolled his giant sphere straight into the water, creating a terrifying splash like a tsunami. Under the cool blue water, every movement seemed to slow down. Grog floated gently, his movements as slow and light as an astronaut actually walking in space. But REXY's situation was much more tragic. The massive volume of air inside his suit subjected him to an overwhelming buoyant force. The sphere slowly flipped upside down, pushing REXY's 2 legs straight up toward the sky, while his head was planted firmly toward the bottom, looking exactly like a giant fishing bobber. A booming voice from Lila's megaphone transmitted down into the water, ordering Grog to proceed with turning the locking pin of the spacecraft module. Grog lightly paddled his hands, swimming slowly to approach the hovering simulated brick block, then reached out to pull the gray wrench from his belt. He aimed precisely at a black pin, putting all his strength into forcefully turning the wrench. But in a zero-gravity environment, Newton's third law instantly came into play. The forceful twist without a solid foothold sent Grog's body flying backward uncontrollably. Despite his desperate flailing, his back slammed violently against a jagged gray rock protruding from the pool floor. The impact cracked the pressure valve tile on the yellow oxygen tank strapped to his back. A loud pop rang out as the valve piece flew off, followed by a surging stream of bubbles bursting forth. The terrifying thrust from the leaking tank turned Grog into a runaway, deflating balloon, launching him forward and sending him spinning at dizzying speeds. A long, spiral trail of bubbles followed behind him as he careened into the training equipment, causing the wrench to slip from his hand and sink. Behind his diving helmet glass, Grog's printed eyes swirled with dizziness as his body hurtled like a torpedo straight toward a sharp, jagged rock. If the collision happened, his glass helmet would undoubtedly shatter into pieces. On the shore, Lila cried out in panic, dropping her clipboard onto the brick floor. Beside her, Clack's camera eye flashed a furious red, billowing thick gray smoke because Grog's bubble trajectory was far too chaotic, violating every law of neatness it worshipped. Underwater, time was down to seconds. Splash tried to swim over to intercept Grog's momentum, but the very whirlpool he had created disrupted the water flow, thwarting his rescue attempt. Hovering upside down, Rexy saw his best friend nearing the brink of death. His scowling eyes widened, burning with absolute determination. Unable to swim, Rexy decided to bend his muscular legs, pressing them against the pool wall and unleashing a terrifyingly powerful kick. The giant pufferfish sphere tore through the water, cutting across the whirlpool and darting right in front of the sharp rock in a split second. A dull boing echoed out as Grog's diving helmet slammed into the inflated belly of the glass suit. Thanks to its spherical, air-filled structure, Rexy's suit deformed slightly, acting like a giant safety airbag that completely neutralized the fatal impact force. Grog bounced back smoothly, floating safely away from the danger zone. However, the earth-shattering collision sent Rexy's sphere spinning round and round like an underwater bowling ball. Despite his body tumbling in dizzying circles through the convex glass, the T-Rex still cracked a wide grin because he had saved his brother's life. Splash swam over, using his long neck to gently wrap around both Grog and Rexy's sphere, powerfully paddling his flippers to bring them both breaking through the surface. Lila breathed a sigh of relief, repeatedly clutching her chest when she saw her friends were safe. Grog was pulled onto the shore, coughing violently and spitting out a transparent plastic fish, but still smiling and giving a thumbs up to signal he was okay. Rexy waddled and dragged the heavy sphere onto the shore, water draining from the seams with loud gurgling noises. Lila quickly undid the locking pins, freeing the dinosaur from the cramped pufferfish suit. Once out, Rexy shuddered and shook his body vigorously like a puppy, splashing streaks of water right into Grog's face. Lila smiled warmly, petting the brave dinosaur's snout, then turned to look at Grog. She gently reminded him that even though everyone mocked Rexy's suit for being ridiculous and useless, without that weird, bloated uselessness, he would have lost his life at the bottom of the pool. Grog nodded, his bright eyes realizing a profound truth, and he stepped forward to throw his arms around Rexy's massive neck. In the vastness of space, anything can happen, and sometimes the strangest quirks turn out to be the greatest saviors. As the sunset glow faded, the team relaxed on brick towels, sipping water from tiny cups. In a corner of the pool, Clack hovered over the edge, diligently using its 2 clips to fish out every drifting plastic bubble to stack into a perfectly floating pyramid. Just then, Splash swam by, accidentally flicking his tail fin and causing the pyramid to collapse and scatter everywhere. Clack's eyes instantly turned bright red, fuming with anger as it grabbed a bug-catching net and leaped straight into the water to hunt down Splash. The furious clicking sounds blended with the hysterical laughter of Grog and Lila, closing out an unforgettable day of training. And finally, from the tiniest member of our Brick Age crew. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next wild ride. See you on the flip side.
That was incredible! Best idea ever! Totally worth it! Let's...
I told you it would be fun!
You were right. Best training day.